and welcome to this week's episode of Talking Skritt. I'm your host, John, better known as Deo around Yaxpan, and we have a fantastic show for you. Gliding Interior and its do's and don'ts. Tybalt is back, kinda. ArenaNet is hiring, and much more. But first, let me introduce you to my fellow host. She is a writer over at Gamebreaker and a mod over at MMO Champion. Dying to be on the show or dying on the show. Can't remember which one.
It could be both.
Say hello to Robin.
Hello.
She's tough enough not to be on the show, so.
Roar.
Her roar is still fierce. Steel. A writer for Gamebreaker, the answer to the age-old question: if we are heroes that stop the dragons, but the dragons are a natural part of Tyria's cycle, are we still the heroes?
Nope.
Say hello to Age.
Oh, damn it, I have to think today.
The answer is no, Age. It's cool.
Okay. I trust you.
Yay.
Seems like Robin's just doing the whole, like I'll tell you what you should be saying.
I'm on top of it. My brain is quick.
She's the sick one.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump right into it. This past Friday, they had guild chat again, and it was a little bit more information of what we're expecting this Tuesday. And they've kind of been teasing us this past couple weeks for this patch that's coming Tuesday, and also along the lines of what's to come. But I think a lot of people are focusing on what we're getting soon. But like most guild, now they started that new thing with guild chat at the beginning. They, which I've liked so far, and even this continues that trend of Ruby's trying to listen to the community and try to find out maybe why things are like they are, or maybe possibilities of why it shouldn't change or can't change. And this week she talked about, if you've been on Reddit or follow Aurora Peachy, I believe it was her that streamed the deposit / compact bags button and how so close it is, and I think it resonates with so many people because I think everybody's done it at least once, if not more. But if you don't know, in your inventory, the little gear in the top right corner has the feature of hide bags, I think show rarity, but also deposit collectible items in the collection tabs, and also compact bags. And those two are very close to each other. And like I said, a lot of people usually, when they don't want to, compact their bags, which, if you're an organized person, can make you go crazy.
Or if your sense of organization is different than what ArenaNet thinks it should be.
Yes. and like chat's saying, people have been complaining about this for a long time, so yeah.
Yeah. Which is funny because I've seen a few people be like, yeah, I never noticed that was a problem until she made that video. We're like, seriously.
Yeah, I just want to prefix this with ArenaNet's not working on this because just Aurora asked for this. They're doing it they're doing it because of the response it garnered.
Yeah.
It was on top of Reddit for a good while that day, and they saw that, and they started
wow, this is something that people really care about. And this is probably something that won't take too much resources to fix.
Yeah, that's probably the important thing to look at is, it's not because one of the YouTube, / Twitch content creators and partners, brought to attention of it. Is just the response. They probably thought, we know it's an issue, but they didn't realize it was an issue that probably everybody could relate to as much as it did. So, they are listening to everybody. It's just this one actually caught them by surprise.
Yeah. And quite honest, from a programming perspective, at least from the way I think about it, reorganizing that list shouldn't be too hard.
No. Did they move there was a while ago, it was a long while ago, I think, where when you went looking at right-click somebody's name and the invite from party and the kick from guild were right next to each other.
Yeah, we had some of those issues. I remember it was during ArenaNet, because we were like, oh, let's get you on the server, like just right, and it's like, I just kicked you from the guild.
So they went back and fixed that, so that's not a problem anymore. So this is like the same sort of thing.
That could be out like in 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, and that's what they said. It's not coming this Tuesday, but she did say it's coming soonish. And she said, I believe she said it was still needing to be tested.
Yeah.
Because it could also be one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, just change these couple things, and there's like some kind of weird ripple effect that's like, oh hey, now the Shatterer is upside down, or like for some weird reason.
Yeah, I don't think it'll go to that extent. You get the idea.
That's the problem with changing coding in MMOs, is sometimes you never necessarily know if somebody's hooked into something somewhere somehow, and a small change has now broken something else that seems unrelated. So
like I said, not going to be this Tuesday, but hopefully soon. Also, that's not coming Tuesday, but is definitely interesting, and it might take a little bit longer than like how Age was speculating 2 weeks for the deposit thing. Guild decorations and scribing costs. They come out and said they do agree that it is too expensive. They are going to try to work to reduce it. What are your guys' thoughts on that? First off, do you like that they realized it and they're changing it?
So, like, the entire reason I haven't done any scribing at all thus far is because I looked at it and I was like, God, that's way too much, and there's way too many other things I want to do at the moment. I'm not doing that right now. So I haven't done any of it because of that. So the fact that they're fixing it, it's wonderful to me.
Yeah, pretty much the same thing. There's gold sink. There's too much of a gold sink, and there are other things that I need/want. Like, I need raiding gear for raiding if I want to do that, and I'm working on legendaries. And there's also ascended armor. The ascended armors from the collection. Not ascended armors, ascended weapons from the collections that I want to work on. That takes time to.
Oh yeah, a lot of time.
So it's a lot of things that I want to allocate my time to, but.
Yeah, and especially the effort that you're putting into those, and like we've shown in the past, like what was it, Gift of Exploration, and they got a small globe. It's like. It doesn't seem like the payoff's there for some of the things. Like I know they kind of did that. They kind of corrected that with Winter's Day, where it was like the big ice sculpture. It's like, oh, that now that's cool.
Yeah.
So I think they're getting better, and now they're kind of adjusting for how much it costs.
I still really want a giant world globe like what's in the Order of Whispers. Yeah. To have that in your guild, like that would be awesome.
Ooh, where would you put that?
I would find a spot.
Yeah, we will find a place. Just make it happen. Let us worry about that part.
We'll find a spot.
Yeah, I'm glad it's getting worked on. I'll reevaluate checking out scribing again once this is in.
Yeah, I feel bad for the people who've put a lot into it and stuff thus far, because I don't think it's possible for them to go back and refund materials or money or anything like that. Like that, it would just be weird. Like I don't know how they would do that.
Well, in that case, it's people who are max scribe usually give out their services to other guilds or are getting funded materials from the guilds. So it's more of a It was a guild-oriented thing if you're max scribe by like week 3. So.
True. Yeah.
Chats. And I've heard the complaint of that too. Like, do you think they're just changing it because they got enough out of the gold sinks? I mean, like, what's your?
I don't think so. Like, I mean, I don't know what the testing and the process and all of that is, but like, they probably looked at it and, like, whoever was doing it looked at it and was like, all right, this probably is good. It's at a good level. What I'm guessing is at this point they've looked at it and looked at the number of people who maxed it out, the number of people who started and stopped, and like all of that stuff, and looked at it and gone, wow, that's not nearly what we were expecting at all. And then really started looking at the cost of it like in depthly, and we're like, maybe we should scale that back some.
Yeah. So I think what people were thinking, I think what ArenaNet was thinking is that it was going to be more of a guild-oriented type of crafting where they had one or up to like, 2 to 5 people crafting stuff for the guild. Well, the problem is it's tied in with crafting, which was always a personal thing.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna say,
like, I like the ideal of it being a guild like thing to work on together, but like it's just it's not very conducive to it because it's still an individual thing. Like it's a guild thing, but it's individual. It's in a weird space there.
Yeah, it's like in a weird middle ground, which it feels awkward from both angles.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I think I talked about it previously. Is I wish it was tied to the guild, because like you're saying, Age, people that got to max scribing, they're going to other guilds and doing it. It's like, shouldn't it be tied to the guild? Like it's the guild crafting, and like Arlie was saying, you could have like 3 to 5 people working on, like maybe that's like, hey, we want to do that, we'll dump the stuff in, and other people, and the guild will level it up. Like,
so you're saying scribe is more of a guild crafting, whereas anyone who's a member of this guild is a like 400 scribe if you have that.
Yeah, like, for example, ours, Knights of the Doliac would be like, that guild would have 400 scribing.
Do it.
Okay.
If that. But,
this magical imagination land that we're talking about right now.
Yes.
Okay.
But instead of like, I have 400, but Robin only has 200, and you have 20. It's like, it doesn't feel like it's a guild.
Like, it's kind of weird to think about it, that if you did have a lot of help from your guild to level up your scribing, which is great, but then like using that to make things for another guild you may be in part of, like, I get it, but at the same time there's something vaguely kind of swarmy about that to me. Like, I don't know.
Yeah. There's also things like, for example, the anthology of villains I keep talking about for Flameseeker Prophecies.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of the Legendary Collection, and to start that collection for Volume 1, you need Anthology of Villains, which requires sheets of quality paper from scribing, which requires 300 scribing.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I feel like I get why they did that, because it totally makes sense for the Flameseeker Prophecies for it to be related to scribing. That, like, 100% makes sense. But at the same time, I feel like if it's supposed to be like a guild-centered crafting thing, tying it to a legendary is just weird.
Yeah, thankfully you can buy those sheets off the trading post. But
Oh, that's good.
But yeah, it's just weird because it feels like guild decorations and the crafting of guild decorations doesn't seem like a guild thing. It seems like a personal thing, which just seems counterintuitive. And
Yeah.
I guess it's just the way it's done that it feels guild-oriented but personal at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but weirdly so. Like, it's not like the personal and the guild aspects like go together and like fit together well and reinforce one another. It's like they kind of clash in some ways. It just, I don't know, it doesn't feel like it works very well.
Yeah, it just feels awkward because I know personally for me, it's like I bought a lot of this piles of snowflakes, and part of me is like, I hope no one else comes along and just is like, oh, I can craft something out of this, and because I don't have an option, it automatically deposits in there. It's like I can't level up my own thing, potentially. Like, it didn't happen or anything, but that's the potential that could happen in other guilds. Or, like, for example, maybe someone was like, oh, you guys got me to 500 crafting? See ya, bye. Like, what are you going to, like...
Yeah.
I don't think anybody did that, but that's the
potential. It will also be interesting to see how much they scale it back.
Yeah. So definitely interested to hear more about it, if they do like a preview of it or just, roll out like a forum post or anything like that. But let's look to what's actually coming this Tuesday. They kind of did these in sections with different developers from each section. So gliding interior, kind of the do's and don'ts. You can't do any in PvP, but I think you can do it in the heart of the mist, correct? Like in the hub.
Yeah, you can play
But
around.
you can't do it in any of the PvP maps.
Yeah.
You cannot do it in World v. World, and
Which makes sense.
Yeah, they talk about it a little bit later. We'll get more into that, and I think it makes sense on the reason they gave behind it. But they kind of showed off some of the tripwires, is what they were calling it, which are the things that are going to basically kick you out of the air. So you can't glide to the end of a puzzle or to a place they don't want you to be, basically. Then they also talked about the client-side glider deployment and the issue with like lag and all that stuff. It was definitely It was interesting because I never realized this, and I think I was like some of the devs where they were saying we didn't realize it until they turned on, like, I guess for testing they have the artificial lag. But how much of a difference it is, and I think it was like they were saying, like, if someone was like in Australia or playing on the the US servers or so.
Well, even when it gets laggy, like, you can tell. Like, I'm not in Australia or anything like that, but there have been those days where I'm like, yeah, all right, we're cool now. Like,
But
like, glider, go.
Yeah, they kind of wanted this client-side glider deployment thing ready for launch of HOT, but it just, wasn't ready and not where they wanted it to be. But then they started to realize how much this whole lag was affecting gliding. And it's kind of interesting. They said once this goes in, gliding at the top of a mushroom jump will no longer be possible, which leads them to looking into fixing fights where this is needed. And I think I
was going to say, there are so many instances where that's useful.
I was going to say, I think they were hinting at, is it the Gorseval fight that you need that for? Or?
Yeah.
So I think that was the one major one they were hinting at, like, don't worry, we're not going to make this impossible now. Like,
well, that, and also it's not a mushroom, but the final fight in the story, you have to get the updraft and go up, and it's not a mushroom exactly, but it's the same kind of thing being done there, where you get thrown in the air and then you put out your glider.
Well, maybe that means it's going to clean it up a little bit.
Hopefully.
Because I know some people still have had issues with that last fight.
Yeah, it's problematic.
So hopefully that fixes it. I mean, what are your guys' thoughts of the whole idea of the tripwires and that they're using it more sparingly?
It's good. I mean, I think people will still find some ways to get around things, but I'm pretty sure, like, none of those ways will be anything that you couldn't get around with portals and stuff anyway, so I don't care.
Yeah, we'll see. I think it's fine the way it is right now. We'll see what problems come out. I don't think they'll be too big.
Yeah, that was the one thing they were saying, is they are aware of mesmer portals. Like, it's not news to them.
Oh, gee, people are using portals to get to the end of the jumping puzzles. Who knew?
That's why they're not too concerned with the gliding thing, but they are. Like, I think they use the example of the Shark Maw jumping puzzle in Lion's Arch. Like, you can't just glide over the waterfall.
Week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think it'll be good.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be interesting, and can't wait to go gliding in Corteria, especially with the Shatterer fight. Let's move on to they then talked about War v. World updates, and they did elaborate on why they chose not to use gliding for War v. World. The main thing was they want to possibly do it eventually, but that does change a lot of the mechanics of how fighting is going to happen. And since they're already changing the core so much with, their plans that we've talked about previously on the show, that they are currently working on and haven't elaborated. Yeah, they haven't really elaborated much more on it, but it's supposed to change, the core of War v World. They probably don't want to throw this in and, rechange it. Like,
well, it makes sense. Like, you want to get things really good and solid and in a place where things are actually working and functioning right before you throw something like gliding in. Like, that just makes sense to me.
Yeah, I'd rather the core be focused on first. Get that feedback first, because that's actually really important right now.
Yeah.
And then work on gliding later, because it might be a possibility down the future. I think that's enough to keep War vs. World happy about gliding anyways.
Yeah, so, they're not saying that they're not planning on doing, War v World gliding. It's just not in the foreseeable future right now as it stands, because they're working on making the basics of War v World better. So, and they did elaborate on some of the stuff that's coming right now, and a lot of stuff we talked about in previous things with the War v World sneak peek. I think the stuff that they talked about previously were like auto upgrades, and how basically it's no longer how much what is it? Materials, siege supply. That's it. How much supply they get. It's more of how many.
Where you're trying to get to.
It's more of how many Doliac caravans you can get to the base or whatnot.
The upgrades, when you took an objective previously, the upgrades automatically happened after a certain amount of time of having that objective. Like, nobody had to be there, nobody had to be defending it. As long as nobody else took it, you would get the pop-up and be like, hey, which upgrade do you want? Like, it was really, like, it's a good idea, the upgrade system, but it was really, like, it involved no real play most of the time. There were the exceptions, but it just happened. I like the fact that now it will be dependent on, making sure that the Doliacs get there or stopping Doliacs to prevent them from happening. Especially, like, for me, the main reason at this point that I play World vs. World is to get those memories of battle for my precursor I've been working on. And one of the most effective ways to do that is to run around killing Doliacs. But it always annoyed me because it felt like I wasn't doing anything that was actually helping my team whatsoever. But I also really hate running around with a giant Zerg. Like, that's just boring to me. So, like, now me doing that will actually have a good effect on, like, the team, which is good. And you
might meet some resistance now.
Yes, which will make it way more interesting than just running around mindlessly killing Doliacs, which is kind of boring.
Yeah, you might actually have, like, some Havoc squads or something being like, we will patrol, like, the southeastern road or something. Like, no Doliacs are getting through there. Like,
yeah.
So definitely could be interesting. Just like a tactical type thing. What are your thoughts, Age?
I think it'll be... well, as a roamer, I do kill a lot of Doliacs, whether they count or not. But it'll be nice to know that it actually matters. As I take a lot of camps, and I always kill off the Doliacs that are there. I usually kill off any Doliacs that are leaving or entering camps. So, yeah, stopping upgrades is probably a pretty good thing to do, and especially if it's if I'm behind enemy lines and taking out Doliacs there. So,
yeah,
and think
to
of it
really
this
mess
way.
them up.
As you're roaming, you see a Doliac with maybe one or two people guarding it. Now the next thing is you kill those people around them. You're getting 2 points for your team and starving the supply line, because we talked about it before. You are going to be rewarded points for killing players. One point for killing one player.
I have kind of mixed feelings about it. Like, it's good on the one hand, but on the other hand, I feel like, well, is that going to mean that World vs. World is just going to devolve into, like, giant zergs running into each other and grinding each other more than, like, taking objectives and all of that?
It's already that.
Since I avoid the zergs. I might
Yeah.
not realize that, but yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
either.
want it to be more focused on killing, I guess.
Well, it's just because that core functionality isn't in yet. So right now they're just adding stuff that people like, and it actually matters if people die now. So you got to be a little bit more careful how you run around and stuff, how you zerg, how you branch off and rotate around with zergs. If you're havoc, if you're roaming, so every little point counts. It's like voting.
See, what I like is you have two teams zerging, because it does say in a three-way fight, both teams who tag the player will get a point for the kill.
Oh.
So if you have two servers zerging, get up there and start crafting some siege and be like, hold, and just launch it in the middle and just be like, our points.
That's funny.
So that could be a possibility. Who knows that that'll happen, but that requires a lot of setting up of...
Or like two zergs are fighting in the middle and one zerg runs by and just hits everybody and then keeps on their merry way.
Cast all your AoE.
Oh, that third zerg would not get away.
You think the other two would turn and be like, "Roar!"
I think everyone will just fight each other in that case, and that'd be amazing. I haven't been in a three-way zerg fight in a long time, and those are really fun because you just don't know what's going to happen.
You're punching people to the left of you, or punching people to the right of you.
Yeah, pretty
Good
much.
thing there's no friendly fire.
Oh, man.
Well, they said they've always wanted to do more of those interesting one-off event type things. Maybe they'll just flip on the friendly fire thing for a weekend.
Oh my god. That would so mess up World vs. World.
Would that be like negative points? Like, you would probably have servers going to negatives.
No. As long as they put indicators that who are friendlies and who aren't, I think I can get away with it.
Yeah. Well, you're usually on a thief. You don't have that much in the way of AoE, right?
Well, if I'm using AoE, I'm using short bow, so yeah.
Yeah.
But my basic attack arrow bounces, so it might bounce to an enemy, could bounce to an ally.
That's true.
And during those battles, we've talked about this before. The rally cap is being reduced from 5 to 1, and it's the closest person to you. And like we said before, you can no longer res players who are defeated, which is dead. Like, but you can still res players that are downed. Where they still have their attacks and whatnot. Also interesting, reducing the cost required to build all types of catapults. It looks like they're reducing it by 10. So, see, look, it's making it better to do my tactic where you're hiding up on the hill with all the siege. Wouldn't that just be amazing? Yeah.
That's actually a good change. Because not more like for total backgrounds, for things like for the Borderlands, there's a lot of walls. There's a lot of intricate areas where you can shoot walls down, and so at least for the fire keep, you have the outer wall and then the inner wall, and then you have to go up and around and stuff like that. So having it costs less to use catapults will really help people out for havocs and stuff like that.
And this one actually sounds like a good change as well. The items sold by the heroic notary vendor no longer require badges of honor. The reason behind it was apparently taking too many badges out of the game too fast. Yeah.
Which is just hysterical to me because I have more badges than I know what to do with at this point.
Well, you could. No, yeah, there's not that much you can do with them after. I mean, Age, you probably play World. I guess putting a lot of it to Siege, would probably be the best
Oh,
route still.
well, I use these for my dailies, to be honest, but now I have to buy something else.
Oh, okay.
It's actually, I think it's a good change, because once you're out of skill points, you don't really need to buy anything else. So Siege is probably the best thing to buy. It's the only thing to buy, really. And having it not cost badges will actually help me out.
Yeah.
Save up badges for something else.
And good news, the walls in Eternal Battlegrounds will no longer enter a state where they cannot be damaged.
Yay!
And there will no longer be flickering or phantom walls in the Desert Borderlands, so...
I am the Phantom Wall.
I've not found one. I have not found a phantom wall.
That you know of, because it's a phantom wall. Look, even walls are getting stealth. Wait till the wall gets stealth reveal. Over the thief.
I've seen the flickering, and I've definitely seen the walls where they can't be damaged. Like, you see the bar, but nothing you can do can damage them. That annoys me. It's like, what the... Yay.
Yeah, they said they're gonna do some work on reducing the lag, so that's always a good thing, especially in a PvP-ish setting, when you're versing other players. Airship defense damage has been reduced by 33%. They said it just felt like it was too powerful.
Yeah.
The guild banners, the Defiance bar reduced, refill time increased, not allowing profession skills like Mesmer Continuum Shift to affect them. So, looks like, I didn't even know about this till they started talking about it. Like, I guess guild banners are OP in World v World? Are guild banners actually getting kills on people? Like, what, like...
Okay, so what they're talking about is probably like the turtle banners and the dragon banners.
Yeah.
Those things are really strong. I think, Dale, you actually saw on my streams where I was running around a person with the dragon banner, and it was just, we were 1v5, we were 2v5ing people. It was great. Good times. But it's really strong.
It was fun when it's on your side, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty
And
much.
then he saw someone else with the other banner, they're like, run!
Yeah, because if you see a person with a Defiance bar, you run because you can't break the Defiance bar. But apparently they're going to update that. So
that's good.
They're going to allow to break the Defiance bar a little more because they're slowing down the regen on that.
Well, it should be doable, but it should be tough, I think, is my opinion. Like, it should be a challenge, but it shouldn't be like, oh, don't even bother because it's too much of a challenge. Like, there's got to be an in-between there.
Yeah.
Well, it seems like World World's so far getting a lot of positive changes. I mean, so
yeah.
You'll actually be able to see walls. You'll actually have less lag. Killing individual players will actually matter. Like, so look forward to those changes. And I mean, Age usually streams War v World, so I can't wait to see him running around and not 2v5ing people, you cheater.
Yeah.
The next thing up they talked about was enhanced squad UI. And
this is something I'm so excited about.
Yeah,
this is so good.
I have the video that shows off the squad markers. But basically, you can appoint lieutenants for the commanders. Basically, they have the ability to micromanage. They can kick, send messages, all that kind of stuff.
Ready checks.
Yes. I think the bigger thing here is the eight different colored markers are available, and as you can see them now, they were saying the markers have a 2,000 unit range, so it makes it nice so you can actually target those. If it's like, during this phase, stand here, or during. So hopefully that'll allow for both. I think they're doing this in World v World, but I would imagine you can still do this in the raids as well, which will be huge.
it's squad UIs for everybody.
Okay, and Yeah, you can place them on the ground, and I think you can see behind them, he placed them both on his 2 lieutenants as well. So maybe you're like, okay, like you could theoretically be like, this group all has the blue square over their head. They go to the blue square marker. So you can make it, it basically it's standard markers that we've seen in other games that have rating and stuff like that. So looking forward to it, and hopefully makes raids a little bit more organized, especially for maybe pugs. Like
yes, even organized.
Yes,
because I talked about this before, but Sabbatha direction's important for throwing bombs to get people up to kill cannons. That will really help. And if you notice in the video, there are 4 markers that you can use to make a PlayStation controller. So it'll be a lot easier for people to know where to go if
they're familiar with PlayStation controllers.
Yeah.
If they're familiar with or if they're using a PlayStation controller, like they mapped it or something, they're like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you see there's a circle, a square, there's a triangle, there's an X. Perfect.
Yep. Which always confuses me because on my gamepad it also has an X, but the X is not where the X is on the PlayStation. It's like, ah!
Should we like pull an internet thing and just be like, I think it's confirmed, Guild Wars 2 is coming to the PlayStation? Like, what is that? Is that what that means? Like, it doesn't.
A message.
It doesn't. I feel obligated to have to say that. But yeah, and I think they now have an option, like in the options now, like you can actually have these set up so you can easily place them. So it should be easier for commanders and whatnot to mark these and possibly change them on the fly if need be.
Yeah. I like the lieutenant thing too. That would be helpful, especially like with that raid last night where I wasn't feeling good. Like if I could have just promoted Mathanas to be a lieutenant to do the ready checks and all of that stuff, that would have been helpful because I kept forgetting.
Yeah, in the end, I mean, it's just a positive change that I think now, especially now that there's raids, they needed to put this stuff. I think they still needed to when with World v World and stuff like that, but in the end, it's just making the commander tag even more enticing for people now that it's a 300 gold price point. It's like
next thing, maybe build templates.
What, behind the commander tag?
No. Next awesome thing they give us, I'm saying. Maybe that'll be it.
I mean, that's...
Yeah.
And last up they showed on Guild Chat was the new Mist champion that we're getting, and we talked about it a little bit last week, and it will be Tybalt.
Yeah.
And they showed off the costumes you can get for him, and you'll be able to see it here. I think it's like a steampunk one.
That looks awesome.
It has like the default, like, him as a whisper agent, a steampunk one, an Orion one, and I also think from the PvP season, like the season armor. And I think that was the different one. Yeah, I don't think a Winter's Day one, but maybe he has the just the taunt
Winter's
everybody.
Presence.
He just the taunt people. He has the Winter's Presence.
That would be awesome.
But they also show off his skills that he can do, and they say he's a ranged defensive type, which
makes sense because he was a sniper.
Which is the first of the Mist champions.
Is there a video for that?
Yeah, I'm gonna. This is the summon / Warcry, and also it'll show the passive effect. The Warcry, when you summon him, will drop apples on his allies, which if you watch, it actually gives you temporary resistance, and also I believe removes one condition. Is it one? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, one should be.
Yeah, one makes sense.
So every time you pick up the apple, and if you haven't listened to us, it's still a little hard to hear on the show, but the sound effect of like you biting into the apple, it's very
really
well.
That's awesome.
You can see here the
I wonder
passive.
who had to stand around a mic biting into apples.
Actually, that is actually what I want to know. Is like they just had a barrel of apples. Just is that good? No. Okay.
Try again.
Wasn't crisp enough. But this passive effect, pulse resistance and drops apples around him as a passive ability. And if you saw in the video, he can actually pick, Tybalt can pick up the apples as well. So I think he walks over them. And also the elite skill that Tybalt does, as you can see here, it's I think it's rotten apples. Or it's also like apple drop or something like that. But basically drops bad apples. And there's a close up of kind of a nice one. They do go later and show, like, definitely watch it, like the detail they put in on these apples. Yeah. But basically it drops apples on the enemy's head, stunning enemies and poisoning them over time. Has a 900 range and 60-second cooldown. But yeah, here they zoom in, like you can watch all like the bugs and stuff crawling over the disgusting apple. Like
it's awesome.
They did an awesome job of, great work on the art team. And
I still think it would have been cool if you had an ability to protect your lord by dropping barrels of apples in front of there that would explode when the other team came to him.
Oh, like it would have like the taunt ability, so they would walk towards it and go, "Oh, what's the boom?" Yeah, that would have been interesting.
Awesome.
So instead of so when Tybalt would get to the enemy lord, he would have that defensive elite.
Or like if he was a defensive for he would stay with your lord and help you protect yours. He could put the barrels there to protect. Either way.
And like most of the other heroes, to unlock him, you will need to unlock the reward track for him. You can unlock it for 15 gold. There's also a bonus reward track that gives you a mini Tybalt, and just so you know, it's in a steampunk outfit. It's in the outfit that that you see in the costumes, and which is different from the one you can get just in the regular game. So,
is the only way to unlock him is the 15 gold?
Yes.
I believe so. Yes. Looks like you're spending 15 gold for a mini pet.
Yeah, and they're milking me dry right now. Taking all my gold, all my gems.
Oh yeah, we'll get to why they're taking your gems here. But first up, if you need a little bit more money and you have the skills, apparently ArenaNet is hiring. They are looking for a mobile software engineer, a senior mobile software engineer, and a mobile UI designer, which is definitely interesting because if you didn't notice, there's a lot of mobile in each of those titles.
They're making a mobile version of Guild Wars 2
for the PS4.
Yeah,
it's all coming together. They're using
the PS Vita.
I was gonna say they're making it for the Vita.
Oh God, no.
Oh, that might have to be the headline. Guild Wars 2 coming to PS Vita.
I will be at the forefront of no.
I will be at the forefront of no.
No, I will be one of the leaders who will be strongly opposed to that.
You'll crawl up the army and be like, no!
What, you want it for the DS? I mean, give it time, it'll come, And for the record, we don't think that's going to happen. But it is interesting because for people that have been following Guild Wars 2 a long time, it was like 2 years before the game came out. They were talking about this mobile app they were working on or messing around with, and it was, I think it's supposed to be called the Guild Wars 2 Extended Experience. And luckily I went back and tried to find some articles about people talking about it, and luckily for us, Rock Paper Shotgun actually had it and had some photos. There wasn't a lot of information about it, but this isn't the app, this isn't supposedly the app that they're working on or whatever they're using these mobile software things.
This is the back in time.
Yeah, this could have been totally scrapped and it could be completely different, but I want to hear people's thoughts of, do you think maybe they're re-picking this up, or
but they might be doing a version of it,
yeah. I mean, they said in the article, and like I said, this is 5 years ago, 6 years ago, The goal was to allow gamers to progress and socialize outside the confines of the PC gaming rig. Not only gives gamers better tools for staying in touch, it actually allows them to participate in the game in a relatable and meaningful way. And they wanted basically it to provide as much as the PC experience as they could on a mobile device. So a lot of, of course, vague statements, but it was even in early development when they showed it off, like behind the scenes. I think this was at like a PAX, and like it just seemed like nothing came of it. Like, I don't know, funding or whatever, or focus, resources. We don't know any of the reasons, but do you think maybe now that they're looking for these mobile software engineers and whatnot, that they possibly could be
potential?
Yeah,
because it's not unusual for MMO games to have a mobile interface to do various things on the game mobilely. So,
yeah,
at this point,
all those positions that they're asking for, kind of points to some sort of app they want to make. I don't know what it'll be. It could be this.
And I think, because I saw in the Reddit post, someone actually picked up on one of the jobs actually said that one of the I don't know if it was a requirement or something they were hoping someone would have the experience in, was they had to have released an app or game that ran on the Unity engine. So
oh yeah, could be then.
Nice. Unity's all over right now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Everybody's using Unity.
Because Unity is really good for those side game development. Not really the big ones, but relatively decent ones.
There's so much you can do with it.
Yeah.
Very versatile.
But it's great for mobile platforms.
Yep. I was to say, I mean, and even for chat, like, what do you guys want to see in a mobile app? Like, do you want it to be like a separate, like a totally separate game that maybe unlocks like skins, or do you want it to be like almost like a utility, like a tool or something that maybe you can see your friends on the game map? Or
I don't know, because most other games, what I like about it is like the ability to use the trading post or like to do crafting things and stuff like that. Mobilely, I'm not sure how any of that would work with Guild Wars 2, though. Like, I'm not sure I would want that, really.
Yeah. It would be kind of like how you connect with GW2 efficiency, maybe, because you need a API key, which is just interface thing to connect with that site to see your contents of your inventory and things like that. You get a whole bunch of cool stats, by the way, which so it might be something similar with that. Someone actually brought up a point of maybe like a world versus world commandering, which would be interesting to see.
Yeah, that would be really interesting because you could get a different kind of view on everything and
and just
that way.
Point people at objectives and things like that. So that might be an interesting concept too, but I think it'll be more PvE related, if anything.
At least at first, until they probably get a handle on server load and stuff like that. Because I like that idea of like a world v world thing. Like, maybe it allows them to have like the map open at all times, and it's like, while I'm going here, they can like hit the thing and it pings like, you guys go here, like, or like, anything like that for a commander would be something. Chat saying they would like to see something like WoW Armory and chat with friends and guildies.
I don't think we'll ever get an armory for Guild Wars 2. I think that sort of thing is really directly against what they want for the game. Like, I feel like they think it would cause more problems than it would help.
I was gonna say, most devices have a camera. What if you were able to be like, hey, I see that person, I want to know what they have. You point the camera at them, take a picture of it, it pulls up their... Yeah, look at that.
That would be cool. This is the skins they're using.
So what does the armory do exactly in WoW?
You can look up any character and see like what gear they have, what item level they have, what achievements they have, like basically anything about the character's stats or anything.
Like their
So you
achievements
can,
and-
whatever you decide is the metric you want to judge them on, you can pick and judge them on it, basically.
I don't know if I'd like that.
They even have history of what raid bosses they've done.
Yeah, I don't know if I don't think we'll see that because that kind of goes into.
they've really been against the DPS meters, which
Well,
Yeah.
that's
It seems
what I'm
like-
saying. Like,
yeah.
I don't think we'll ever see that because that seems to be an idea that the developers are fundamentally against. They feel like it would make it cause more harm than do good. The same thing. Like, I don't think we're ever going to get an in-game inspect where you can expect other people's gear. So.
That's because it kind of leads to DPS meter checks and raid gear checks every night, and that'll be really hard for pugs and stuff like that.
yeah, I wouldn't mind if it does attach to your account, like an out-of-game wardrobe. Like maybe you're like out and about. It's like, let me look to see what like. See, you can play dress up for your characters on your
You
phone.
never see Aaron ever again.
Maybe eventually, knock on wood, manage templates and builds and.
That would be cool. Like, if you could try out different builds and stuff mobilely and see, like, just see play with how things work and whatnot, that would be great.
Like, I know a lot of times, like, at least in Guild Wars 1, it used, like, a chat code that was, like, kind of like when you see, like, build sites where it's, like, you could look at, like, the address and it's, like, changing each of the, like, maybe even, like, it's like, hey, this is my build. Let me send it to you through my, phone, like send it to someone and they're like, oh, like, look at it. It's like, there could be interesting possibilities there.
Cool. Yeah.
So there's a lot of potential that we're basically saying, hey, what could this technology do? Which it has done a fair amount of stuff already. Like,
well, just as another example, what the Division is using, they have a mobile interlay where an actual player can play with their team mobily and command like a helicopter and whatnot to help them out. I don't know if they would take it that far, but it is a possibility. Like, the kind of technology exists for that kind of stuff. So.
Maybe the airship upgrades for Warcry World. You can be like, you can now drop people in, but like, I wanted to go to this fort, and you can drop people in. Though we might want to have gliding for that, because if we just drop them in, that might not end well for them.
At least give them a parachute.
I guess if you want
thorns to drop them.
Drop free-to-play players, be like, as a punish. Yeah, I guess that's never gonna come in now.
Yeah.
Way to shoot down my idea with logic. I just know I'm gonna enjoy it on my PS Vita that I don't own. But now that you have money because you are now the mobile software engineer for ArenaNet, now let's put it back into the company. This week in the gem store, they gave us an assortment of things. And honestly, I didn't think these were coming because they were data mined and they didn't come Tuesday. I was like, I guess they're not coming. But they snuck them in. They snuck them in right at the last minute. Yeah. The nature outfit. And the first two will show you the different dye channels for the different genders, and then it goes through each of the races. So 700 gems. You can remove the helmet and like outfits, like all the other outfits. And like I said, this is an outfit, so it's all or nothing minus the removal of the helmet piece. So what do you guys think?
I like the female version of it a lot. I'm not sure about the male version. Like, I don't know. I don't like a lot of the male styles though.
Yeah.
Like I was saying before the show, I was kind of hoping that we'd like possibly try to dye the like antlers there to maybe get like a Loki looking thing, because I don't know, it kind of like had a little bit of like a
it's a little crazy on the chart.
Oh, that looks adorable on the server though.
There's a lot of detail in it too. Like, if you look closely, there's so many small details in there that are really cool.
Yeah, if you have the ability to preview the outfit, because I remember when I saw the data mine code and I looked at it, like you can see like the stitching on it. Like it's very beautiful looking just from a structural standpoint, let alone the actual look, whether you like the look or not. But I mean, are you guys willing to pick this up for 700 gems, which is usually the
Yeah.
standard for outfits?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a decent outfit. Yeah.
I usually don't like outfits, but I like this one a lot.
I'll say a lot of people weren't a fan of the shoes. Like they just seemed like, for them, they said it felt out of place because they
Yeah,
seemed
they
more.
are kind of, but like I feel like the rest of it makes up for it.
Okay. The next thing up, and chat was already beating me to it, was the Hawk Wings Glider combo, which it's 700 gems, but it is also a back piece. It's a glider and a back piece, so you're getting that skin for both things. So, and once again, 700 gems. Would you guys be willing to pick that up?
Yep.
Yep.
I'm buying it right as soon as I have enough gems. Like,
Yeah. I think
as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my god.
I don't know who I'd put that on though. I'd want them though.
Yeah, I've been debating about which of my characters will get it.
And we were talking about it earlier. Was I think they came out Friday? Was it Thursday or Friday?
But
I
like
don't
these things.
know.
But basically, well, it was either Thursday or Friday, and we already have
I think it was
Hawk.
Friday.
We already have a Hawk Girl in-game cosplay. So
Yeah.
you know, didn't take too long. But yeah, I think everyone was expecting that, and I'm glad the internet did deliver on it.
Well, I mean, like, that's the first thing I thought of when I saw it. I was like, wow, I always wanted to be Hawk Girl, now I can. That's awesome.
And I like what chat's saying. Some people already bought it. Some people are saying this is going to be their first purchase for Guild Wars 2 besides Heart of Thorns. So
Yeah.
sounds like they did something. They did something right. They did something good. So awesome. Like,
Yeah.
and
I really like the detail inside the wings.
Yeah. Yeah.
the altering colors, like I like the angel, the white wings and the black wings, but they were just kind of a solid, not too much variation color. But these ones,
Well, not to go too nerdy or anything, but the underside pattern of it is really reminiscent of a red-tailed hawk's wings. So I thought it was cool.
Yeah, it's really accurate talking. So I'm really impressed.
and last up, which came Tuesday, which made me think that these things weren't coming. They trolled me. Was the
Good job, ArenaNet.
was the Mini Zintel Cavalier, which is 350 gems. I mean, I'm not much of a mini person.
Mount's coming confirmed.
What's that?
I said Mount's coming confirmed because he's writing
Mount's
them out.
coming. Oh, jeez. You can. That's how they're gonna get people to the PS Vita. You'll be able to ride mounts only on the PS Vita version. That's clearly coming.
No.
And Age will be. They're sending Age a copy to test. They're not. I feel like that's somehow gonna violate an NDA that doesn't exist.
Like, guys, shut up.
Yeah, it's a
like,
joke.
How did you know?
We called it. But yeah, I mean, would you guys pick up the Mini Zintel Cavalier for 350 gems? Like,
I'm not getting it.
wow, and that's our mini that's the mini person right there.
Yeah.
I don't really buy minis unless it's really awesome. So,
Yeah.
But just one thing that I would love to hear on Guild Chat at the beginning is the pricing for these, because they fluctuate every now and then. I just want to know why.
Yeah, I really want to get some understanding about how they come up with the prices for the minis, because there's like 200, there's 350, there's 700, there's 500, like.
Because I thought it depended on animations too, but some are higher and they don't have animation, some are lower, they do have an animation. I would like to know why. Not to knock off this one, it's decent, but I just like to know what goes behind that decision.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, not to knock, like, because it is a character that we see in the game, and there is amazing detail. I mean,
yeah, no, it looks great.
Yeah, it's not knocking it. It's just, for me to buy a mini with actual money or spend a lot of in-game gold for it, Yeah, it would probably have to wow me. Probably like the what was it? The mystical no, what was the blue mystical dragon version? Like the one that just the winters.
The snow one.
Yeah, yeah, the one that just came out recently.
I never did get that, but I wanted it.
Oh, yeah,
Well, I think it's still there. I don't think they. I don't think they
went away with Winter's Day.
I don't think it was a Winter's Day exclusive.
Yeah.
So it's.
Right,
I believe it's still there, but I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, and like I think like a lot of like chat is agreeing as well. Like just maybe not into the minis, and which was I think that was a nice reward when they came out in some of them came out in the raids and stuff like that, because it's probably something that maybe they saw they weren't probably going to make a lot of money off it in the gem store. I mean they still did have one of them in the gem store, but I think that was also to appease people that maybe don't want to do the raid. But yeah, for 350 gems, I would probably save that a little bit more to maybe get the Hawk Wings or the Nature's outfit, but that's just me because I'm a sucker for the outfits because no matter how heavy the server gets, they're not going to hide my outfit. They'll hide my mini pet, which it's like,
Yeah.
That's a fair assessment, actually.
But see, look, you're paying the extra gems so they don't hide your outfit. I'm totally making that up, but that seems like that's all we have for this week. Hopefully next week we'll be able to talk a lot more about the Shatterer fight, and hopefully it's
we're gonna have so much to say
insanely awesome, and possibly me going, I had the back piece, and maybe I'll be right about the what was it, the keg back piece for the Brewery of the Month. Come on, keg jetpack.
Right about it? Oh, keg jetpack. That's
the keg
right.
jetpack.
I was like, what was it? Plus the mini doesn't roll. Yay, Tactic.
I was say if that mini rolls, that high luck will be damaged.
Dude, if that mini rolled and the Arrowhead didn't, I would go and pick it ArenaNet and be like, dudes, fix it.
You're just being mean now.
Yeah.
But all right, Arlie, where can you be found?
Gamebreaker.tv, mmrarley.com, and on Twitch and Twitter at Arlie82.
And Age, where can you be found?
Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, at Age Night Road, and yeah, I should be streaming all the new stuff, so feel free to swing by.
Cool. And you can find me at simply_Deo on Twitch and Twitter. I'm trying to stream a little bit more. This past week I did some more Blade Soul, literally last night. I hope when the Shatter and all that stuff falls, maybe do a couple of the Shatterer boss fights. You can always find us if you're just tuning in now live. We do put this up over at our YouTube channel. Just search Talking Skritt on YouTube. We're usually the first one that pops up. They go live, they go up Sundays at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific. And if you are watching this over on YouTube, stop in live. We go live every Saturday over at twitch.tv/TalkingSkrit at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. And as always, we will see you in the game. Good night, everybody.